Can y'all hear me? There we go. Hey, welcome to the Rock, y'all. Where you at today? Happy signing day. Are we excited? Okay, I'm going to ask you one thing. Can I say, hey, let's go Eagles? 1, 2, 3. Go Eagles. One more time. 1, 2, 3. Go Eagles. I like it. All right, we're going to get this party started. Like she said, my name's Danielle Lecher. I have been with Chadron State for 6 years now, and I'm going to talk to you a little bit about what Eagles do. Y'all are Eagles now, and students, you are really officially Eagles, and there are some things you need to know about being an Eagle so that you're successful at Chadron State. Like Lisa said, we're going to tell you a lot of stuff today, a lot of stuff. Maybe you're going to get a little overwhelmed. Parents, students, guests, you're probably going to be overwhelmed. So again, keep those questions. If you don't get your questions answered in the session, if there's not time, please hold on to those questions. That's what the afternoon sessions are also designed for, is so you can ask those more one-on-one individual questions. Please take advantage of that time. We don't want you to leave today without questions. Also, lunch is a really good time for you guys to come together. Students, you're going to hear some stuff. Parents, you're going to hear some stuff. Hopefully it's the same stuff. We planned it that way. And then once you've compared notes, you guys may have questions together that you want to ask. And again, please don't leave today with those questions unanswered. Y'all got packets, right? Did anybody open your packet? Did anybody read what's in the packet? Okay, that's the first thing about being an Eagle is you got to read the stuff we send to you and give to you. So students, you have a syllabi because this is your first college class. Welcome to it, Eagle Flight School 101, Earn Your Wings. So students, if you will pull that out of your packets, there's some stuff on there about what you're supposed to learn from this. If I do my job right, you're going to know what's on there. Also on the back of that sheet are a whole lot of helpful tips and disclaimers and information that may be pertinent to you as this session goes on and then throughout the summer. So I know it's a lot of text, but it's reading and it's college. It's good practice, right? So we're going to move on from here. All right, students, how many of you are checking your Eagle Mail and My CSC account at least once a week? Parents, how many of you are checking your students' Eagle Mail and My CSC at least once a week? Okay. Students, you are now Eagles. Eagles check their own My CSC and Eagle Mail account at least once a week. If this is the first time you're hearing that, I'm sorry. We try to tell you in advance, but this is why you're here today, is so we can tell you if you're not doing it now, you need to start as soon as you leave this session. So students, now is the time. Check your Eagle Mail, check your My CSC account at least once a week. You can do it with your mom, but you need to be doing it, okay? If you are unable to, there is a fabulous IT help desk in the back. That's what they're here for today. They are also located at the library. So if you cannot access those accounts by the end of the day today, we got a problem. That's what they're here for. So make sure you're able to successfully log into both, because you're going to need those for the rest of your life as a Chadron State student, okay? Eagles also understand their financial aid. Financial aid's a big, confusing thing. I totally get it. And that's what we're all here for. So we're going to talk kind of lightly a little bit about scholarships and federal student aid today. There's some other things, other assistance like VA benefits, tuition reimbursement. You may be paying out of pocket, but we're going to focus primarily today on scholarships and financial aid, okay? So those of you who receive scholarships from Chadron State College, those have already been awarded. They should be out on your My CSC account. Please do not forget any thank you notes that may be on your to-do list on your My CSC account. We're going to see how many times I say that today. And if you received outside scholarships, how many of you guys got outside scholarships that you know about so far? Awesome. How many are still waiting to hear? Very good. I love it. Okay. This is your job. You have to tell us about those outside scholarships, okay? Whether you like it or not, we have to know. It's required. Not just because we said so, but the federal government requires you to report those to us. And so there is a form on our website. Just go csc.edu, search outside scholarship. It's a form you fill out for each outside scholarship you've received. And you just got to fill that out every time you hear you got one, okay? There is a note on the back of that Eagle Flight or your syllabi that tells you that as well, okay? Every single scholarship. Federal financial aid, FAFSA. It's like a bad 4-letter word, right? How many of you guys have done your FAFSA, hopefully? Okay, how many still working on it? Yeah, how many have never heard of FAFSA and they're like, what is that? Okay, no hands, that's a good thing. All right, if you want to apply for federal grants, federal loans, or federal work study, you have to fill the FAFSA out. all right? You hopefully have completed and filed your taxes by now, because tax day was a couple weeks ago, but those of you who filed extensions, I totally get it, it happens. But you need to make sure that you filed your taxes, hopefully prior to doing the FAFSA. But if you haven't, that's fine. Get your taxes filed, then do your FAFSA, or go back in with the updated information. If you used estimated, that's okay too. But we just have to have your FAFSA completed by June 1st. That's our priority deadline. That means we need your FAFSA and is a big capital word underlined, any additional documents on your to-do list for verification by June 1st. So not just FAFSA, any additional documents as well. And the reason being is because after that point, we cannot guarantee your financial aid will be ready by the time school starts in August, okay? It's about a 2 to 6 week time period that takes to process your aid, depending on what we need from you, and it could be longer. So that's why that June 1st deadline is super important. All right, how many of y'all saw this page, hopefully, when you did your FAFSA? If you went to FAFSA.com, you did not see this page. They also ask you to pay $80 for your FAFSA. It's the free application for federal student aid. So hopefully you did not go to that. If you did go to FAFSA.com, please make sure to go out to FAFSA.ed.gov and complete the free form, because FAFSA.com does not send it to us. All right, in the room, this is probably more for mom and dad. How many of you guys were able to use the data retrieval tool? Ooh. No hands, okay. The data retrieval tool is the coolest thing in the universe, I think, because it allows you to electronically transfer your tax information from the IRS to the FAFSA. It's cool for 2 reasons. First of all, we know the IRS filled it out, not you, so we know it's accurate. Secondly, you didn't have to figure out which line item on your tax return the FAFSA was asking for, because I'm like, what, 20A? B, subtract 5, round it up to 4. Y'all know, you've looked at it, okay? The DRT does that for you. So please, if you need to send us tax information, if you have tax transcripts on your to-do list, you can utilize the data retrieval tool to send us that information. If you haven't submitted your FAFSA yet, because you just filed your taxes, you can then go in and use the data retrieval tool to transfer that information, all right? Please utilize ladies in the START office this afternoon. That is what they are here to do. They're in the back waving at you. Hello, holla back, girls. What's up? Okay. They are here to answer your questions. If you have questions specifically about your FAFSA, this is not usually a public forum kind of thing. Tax information is pretty personal. We get that. So if you have questions about your FAFSA, START office, 1 to 4. That's what they're there for. Okay. We're just going to go through a little bit. This is what the DRT would look like when you're in there. So you have to answer no to all these questions. Kind of contradictory, but you have to say no. I did not file a Puerto Rican tax return. And then you're going to say yes, linked to IRS, okay. And then here, you're going to enter your tax information in identically to how it appears on your tax return. It must match exactly. And I've been on the phone with moms, and they're like, oh, okay, I'm doing it. It's not recognizing me. Well, does it say street spelled out, or is it abbreviated? Well, it's abbreviated. What are you doing? I'm typing it all the way out. Okay, it has to match it exactly, identically. So if street is abbreviated, you abbreviate it. If it's spelled wrong, you spell it wrong. If it's capitalized, you capitalize it. So you have to have your tax return right in front of you when you're doing the DRT, okay? And then hopefully you hit submit, and there's all your information. I'm sorry, I'm not gonna share mine with you, but yours will show up there. And then you're gonna hit transfer, my tax information, yes, transfer now. It's gonna go boop, through the magic of cyberspace to your FAFSA. And then it's all gonna show up and say transferred from the IRS, okay? Do not change any of that information, okay? We know if you changed it. Even if you think it's wrong, don't change it. Leave it alone, because then it becomes null and void and the transfer is no longer valid, okay? Leave those numbers alone, hit save, and then make sure to re-sign and resubmit your FAFSA at the end. If you only save it, we never see it. It sits out there on the FAFSA website. So if you want us to get it, go to the end, put your PIN numbers or your FAFSA ID in, and resubmit. We are currently awarding students now for the 16-17 year. So some of you may have financial aid out on your account, which we're going to talk about in a minute. Those of you who don't have financial aid on your account, there could be a couple of reasons. Either we haven't gotten your FAFSA yet, or we're missing things on your to-do list. So again, you need to make sure to be checking that to-do list. So how many of you have looked at your to-do list in the last 24 to 48 hours? How many of you are sitting there panicking thinking, I should have checked my to-do list in the last 24 to 40 hours? Okay. You will. You'll be able to. It's all good. Okay. If you have things on your to-do list from admissions, from financial aid, health forms, get that to us ASAP. There is no deadline. The deadline was yesterday. Get it to us. The only thing you shouldn't be able to submit to us right now is your final official high school transcript, because I'm assuming most of you are still in high school. You haven't graduated yet. So it's not final and official until you've graduated and until that graduation date is posted. We know that. That's okay. So just make sure to get that transcript sent to us sometime over the summer. Everything else you need to be working on right now. Okay, if you've been awarded financial aid, how the heck do I see that? Well, first you get an email to your Eagle Mail. So you gotta check your Eagle Mail first. And it's gonna say, hey, you've got financial aid out there. Go to your MyCSE account. See how this all works together? Is anybody counting how many times I've said Eagle Mail, MyCSE? Okay. Then you're gonna go in and you're gonna click on View Financial Aid. And you're gonna see financial aid for the year, the whole thing, the whole year, and then by term. We show you both. So here's the big number. We're gonna give you half for fall, half for spring. The reason being, we bill you half for fall, half for spring. So you have a bill for the fall, you have a bill for the spring. We don't wanna give you all your money in the fall because that's not gonna cover your spring bill. So you need to look at both, okay? Again, for the year and for the term. Now, how does that translate into my bill? Just a warning, college costs money. Drop the mic. Okay? I don't know if y'all know that, but I'm here to tell you, first thing, if you haven't heard it before, college costs money. So Eagles understand what it means to pay their bill, when their bill is due, how they're gonna pay their bill, and that's a really big thing that we have to talk about today. And sometimes it's uncomfortable for both parents and students because they're like, all you told me today was about the bill. That's all I heard. Well, this is our only opportunity to talk about it. Because if you show up in August and do not have a plan to pay your bill, it's too late by that point. So we gotta talk about it today. So I'm just warning you, that's why we're doing it. All right, you can estimate your course costs right now if you're curious, because our bills aren't gonna come out until July. But you can get an idea if you go to the business office website, and you can click on billing and payment information to find out more about what I'm telling you today. You can also estimate your course costs based on how many credit hours you're enrolled in, if you're a resident, non-resident, what your meal plan is, what your room is, to give you an idea. Or you can look at this slide. So here's my estimate. This is a very, very vague kind of a number we're gonna throw out there. But based on kind of what we're seeing, we're looking at about $6,500 to $7,000 per semester is what your bill's probably gonna look like. So if you can budget about $6,500 to $7,000 for fall, that's gonna give you a number, okay? With tuition, fees, room and board. We're not including books or personal expenses in here. This is just what you're gonna owe Chadron State College. Okay, bills will come out July 18th, about a month before classes start. You're gonna get a bill. Guess what? You're gonna get an email sent to Eagle Mail, yes. Okay, and that email is gonna say, hey, go to your MyCSE account. Oh my God, this is great. MyCSE account to see that bill, all right? You have a variety of payment options. You can pay online with credit card or Echeck. You can also pay cash check or money order. Your other option is to set up a payment plan if you want to set those up in increments, but those have got to be set up before the first day of classes on August 22nd. To view and pay your bill again, MyCSE, here it is. So you're gonna go to your accounts tab. You can see your current balance due, and then you can also see your account activity. Your account activity is my favorite screen. It's also parents' favorite screen because this is gonna give you a running total of your bill. So any charge you have, it's just kind of like looking at your bank account. Debits, credits, it's all there. So it's gonna show you charges, it's gonna show you anything that's been applied as a payment, and it's usually current within about 12 hours or so. So it's the most up-to-date view of your bill. So you can see here, charges, and then some financial aid was applied, and then some other charges. It's brilliant. Okay, online payments. This is a new thing this year, and I just want to warn you. After July 1st, we are changing the way that we're running credit card payments. So you will not be able to call the business office and put it on a credit card. You also won't be able to walk in the business office and put it on a credit card. You have to use your MyCSE account to pay online. The other thing is if you pay with a credit card, there is going to be a convenience fee of 2.75% on any transaction. So you take $7,000 times 2.75%, that's a pretty hefty charge just to pay your tuition on a credit card, okay? You can use Echeck and save. So that's your other option. Echeck is free. Echeck's going to be kind of like bill pay or direct deposit. So that's where you're going to put your routing number in and all that, and it's just going to pull it directly out of that checking or savings account, whichever you link to. You'll set that up also on your My CSC account. That's going to be the better option. Or you can pay the old-fashioned way, cash, check, money order, mail that to the business office, walk it into the business office at orientation, however you want to do that, all right? Deadlines for payment is always going to be the second week after classes start. So if you're paying in person, you got to pay by Friday, September 2nd. If you're paying online, we have to have it by Sunday, September 4th. The other dates there are listed for the second 8 weeks. I don't want to worry about that too much. We're really focused on getting your whole bill paid by September 2nd or September 4th, because what happens if I don't pay? And they always give me the fun stuff to talk about, right? They're like, make the blonde pregnant lady deliver this message. All right. 2% late fee gets assessed to you if your bill is not paid on time by the 2nd or the 4th. Okay, 2% automatic on whatever your balance is. You also get a hold on your account, blocking any future enrollment, can't get a transcript, not pretty. Okay, we give you a little more time to get your life together, just a little more time. So if you still owe $500 by about the 4th week of classes or so, you're going to be dropped from all of your classes. You're also going to be escorted swiftly from your residence hall, and your meal plan will be canceled. Do not be that student. Please, for the love of God. Yes, she's like, that's awkward. It is awkward. It's awkward for us. It's awkward for you. Please, please, please do not be that student. If you still owe us money by the end of the semester, those accounts are turned over to collections. It's not the best way to start out your credit history, y'all. So pay your bill and have a plan to pay. And I'm also here to tell you, if you are at home, getting ready, packing your stuff about the 1st of August, and you do not have a plan to pay your bill, do not keep packing. Don't come. Because if you don't have a plan to pay your bill by August 1st, you're probably not going to have a plan to pay it by the time classes start, and you're probably not going to have a plan to pay it by September 4th. So that is why we are here today. That's why we're talking about your bill. Parents, you're also going to go through a session so you can kind of help your student with this, obviously. This is a big thing for your student. It's a very adult thing for your student to be responsible for, and we understand you want to be a part of that. So you're going to go through a session that kind of helps you have those conversations so you guys can work out a plan over the summer, so when that bill comes in July, you got this. No problem, you got a plan. We good? Can I get a head nod? I love it. Okay. Those of you who are lucky enough to get money back, you got so much scholarship and so much financial aid, you're gonna get a refund. I do suggest signing up for direct deposit. That's available about 2 to 3 days after disbursement. So once all the financial aid gets applied to your account, which happens the second week of classes, we get through add drop, which is the first week. We apply any financial aid the second week, and if we have any money left over after your bill's paid, you sign up for direct deposit and you'll get that deposited about 2 to 3 days from that time. Otherwise, we're gonna send you a paper check that takes way longer. It takes about a week, so the direct deposit's the way to go on that one. Now all these parents are sitting in the room saying, I do not trust Johnny or Susie to do this. This girl's crazy. Okay, we have an option for you at Chadron State College. It is called Parent Guest Access. So, students, you are now independent eagles. We want to give you the power over your academic records. So, you have your own NUID and password. You should be checking your MyCSC account in Eagle Mail. But your parents might want to see what's going on in there. So what you can do is set up Parent Guest Access. That gives mom or dad or grandma or your Aunt Susan, whoever, access to your account with their own NUID and password. The other cool thing about this, because you're like, well, why don't I just let them log in with my NUID and password? That's way easier. Well, then they can see your grades. I'm gonna let that sink in for a minute. You set them up with their own NUID and password. You control what they have access to, including your grades. You can change that at any time, like before finals week. Just saying. Those of you who want to set up parent and guest access, our friend Sam Parker will be here this afternoon with laptops for you all to log in and set up parent guest access, so please try to do that before you leave today. All right. Lastly, because we're moving into our academic sessions, I want to talk a little bit about Eagles understanding academics. All right. We want to make sure that you understand the faculty relationship, how you're going to manage your major changes and add, drop, and withdraw, and then also the essential studies program. So we're going to talk about that here for a couple minutes. All right. Y'all applied for admission. That's why you're all here. And on that admissions application, you selected a major. But you probably applied a couple months ago, and this is really going to shock especially your parents because they've never experienced this. You might have changed your mind since you applied. Anyone? Did that happen to anyone? Bueller? Just me? I changed at least 15 times. It's fine. Okay. Well, if you applied for admission and you changed your mind, that's totally fine. Then you filled out your ready to register form. And I know you did that because that's how you got here. You had to fill that form out to sign up for signing day. And on that form, you put a major. And that's probably the most recent information. But it may not because you may have shown up today and had a different major. Guess what? You might also change again after today. It happens all the time. So how do we make sure that your major is correct? We need to make sure it's correct today, or if a couple weeks after this you decide to change it again, you need to tell us that. We will change it for the purpose of your schedule, for the purpose of today's event, and for the purpose of new student orientation. We're going to keep track of it that way. But your major in the system, your official major, is always going to be what you applied as for right now. Because again, it's official. We don't want to officially change it until you're done changing your mind 14 times. All right? We will process official final major changes at new student orientation in August and then throughout the month of September. That's when you'll say, yes, I have decided I'm going to be a physics major, the end. And there's a form you fill out. You'll go see the girls in the START office, you'll go see your faculty advisor, they can help you with that form. Just as a heads up, you won't be able to do that until new student orientation at the earliest, all right? But you have to make sure that your major is correct in the system by September 30th, because we use that major to assign you to an official faculty advisor. So START is assigned to you right now, or maybe Cheryl or Dina, but then we want to get you with a faculty advisor, because you're gonna use that faculty advisor in October for advising month. And advising month is intended for you to meet your faculty advisor and get registered for the spring semester. See how this all flows together? Okay, so make sure your official major is updated by September 30th, and if you're still not sure, you can always go see fabulous Dina Kendall in the back. She is your major change lady. She can help you figure out what the major is gonna be best for you, but again, by the end of September. All right. You are responsible for knowing the add, drop, and withdraw dates for each term or session. You must know that before you start classes because you really only have the first week to add or drop classes. So students, if you miss that deadline, that's a deadline. And we're serious about deadlines at Chadron State. We don't mess around. So you come to drop a class on Monday of the second week, you don't get to drop it. You can withdraw from it. So understanding that's very important. You can find that on the website. I also gave you information in your packets, so please read that and understand those policies before you show up in August. All right, my favorite slide, because I know y'all are feeling this way. I have 15 questions, I have 14 concerns, and I have no idea what to do. Right? Okay. Again, this afternoon, please utilize those sessions. That is what we are here for. I know they're optional, but they're really not optional because I know you have questions.